All right, guys, we got episode, I don't know, 26 or 46. I'll let you guys know in a minute, but this is a reschedule, but then it turned into something else as well. So we're pretty grateful for that. But of SBB TV, Support Black Business. And today we have Vandebilt Evans, Jr. of Angelic Voices. We're going to talk about the music industry. We're going to talk about, exactly who they are in the music world, because there's a little twist here, and there's some things that a lot of us need to understand how things work. So what I'm going to do is Vanderbilt, give our viewers a brief overview of who you are and what you do.
I am super producer in Angelic Voices for AVM Records. I'm a producer over 20 years. We have started a brand new label, Angelic Voices Music / Neil Rewind / Sony. And we are about positive change as far as no derogatory language, no disrespectful to women, putting out good feeling music, good frequencies of music to help the people, to help this generation. And that's the direction we're going.
Now, what made you start that? I mean, have you been were you born and raised with your parents or whatever? Were they into music? What made you start that?
Well, it was actually coming from my mom and my dad. I grew up in a house of nothing but music, man. I grew up in a house where I didn't have a TV in my room, but I had a little small radio, about like that much. And I used to hear this Earth, Wind and Fire, Barry White, old Marvin Gaye, and so forth and so on. I used to go to sleep to this music and wake up to the music. And then as a little kid, come to find out that I played keyboard. I started playing keyboard at the age of actually 3. And after that, man, some years passed by and I got into DJing. That's another thing, but basically that's where it started from. It started from my parents. That's from my parents.
Now, are you originally from New York City or
I'm actually from Harlem.
Okay.
I'm from Harlem, New York City, born in Manhattan. Yeah, so I'm originally from Harlem, but I'm in the BX now.
Okay. Because now I will say this, that New York City, now I know how big it is. I now, as far as the breakdowns and, I know the Bronx and the Brooklyn, Staten Island, things like that, just from the scene. And I've been there a few times. That is my favorite city of all times. It's, I tell people, New York City is, everybody's on a hustle at all times.
All the time.
When Jay-Z came out with that song, him and Alicia Keys, I was like, that's New York City to a T. It really is. It really is. I was like, wow, I was blown away. So
yeah, man.
Now, how long are you doing your own thing? How long have you had the label? Did you created it?
Well, we just actually, me and my partner Elwood Leggett, which is a longtime buddy of mine, created Angelic Voices Music Records, also through Neil Rewind Sony. It's a funny thing. I've been producing for a while, and we didn't see each other for a long time. And then once we met back up in like 2012, stuff started happening. I started going to producer competitions and stuff. And it was his wife that told me, she got wind of my music. It was his wife that said, you need to do a Beyonce challenge. So I did the challenge, and it got it went viral, very viral, man. Everybody's like, wow, man, you flipped her song. And once they got wind of that, and then the next following year, which is 2013, when Angelic Voices Music Records was created, that's when the deal came. It came through them. It actually came through my brother Elwood and his wife. Yeah,
That's good. See, you know, and it's funny because it's funny you say that because, you know, I tell people a lot of times that, you know, you never really know where certain things are going to come from.
Right.
You know, and that's why I tell them, you know, a matter of fact, it was something that, you know, I posted the other day. It was something I had posted previously, but it just happened to come up on my Facebook, on my Facebook stream. And so I reposted and I was like, rewind. And it was like, don't give up, don't stop. And a lot of times, because I'm notorious for this, like if I'm talking to you and you're not listening to me, you're not hearing me. And I'm like, I think you should really look into, you know, trying this. I know, you know, we all have our certain ways that we want to do things. So but you know, but somebody from a distance can look at it and say, if you just made this one little tweak,
right,
you know, or this is what you should be doing,
right,
you know, and a lot of times we don't want to hear because it's ours, right? So it's like, no, this is my stuff. This is what I want to do. So what I'll do is I'll look at, you know, like if I got a buddy I'm trying to talk to and he's maybe not listening to me, and I'll grease him up. I was like, hey man, is anybody in your circle that tell you no, that this is not a great idea? And you know, like, yeah. I'm like, well, I'm about to tell you that that's what you're about to do is not really the greatest idea. It's a, you know, it's a little bit better. And then they probably won't listen, or in this particular case, I'm talking about a specific instance now, didn't listen, right? Did what he wanted to do. So I went to his other boy and I was like, have you talked to such and such about this thing he's about to do? He's like, yeah. I was like, what do you think? And he was like, well, I told him that he should do it, you know, like this and this. I said, that's exactly what I told him. So now you got two people that's on the outside, and you know what? And he did it anyway, and it flopped.
Wow.
And it did. And then he blamed us. You know,
that's his doing. See, this the thing about, and I was just got to finish talking to Elwood about this too, that I went into our Standard Producer Showcase. Shout out to our Standard Producer Showcase, man. They give a lot of producers opportunities, you know, to get shine for the labels and for other producers to show your credibility, what's wrong, what's this. You know, they put you on stage and you be in front of a whole bunch of audience and you have a celebrity panel of other producers that made it in the game and they critique you on your music. So, I was just saying that I don't like a bunch of yes people around me. I like people where it's going to get me to go for. And I'm my worst critic. So I'm always challenging myself. If I see somebody, okay, I see somebody like one of my tracks and they love one of my tracks, I know I got to beat that track now because now everybody loving that music. So I got to top that. So that's always been in my mindset. To always outdo myself and to stay humble and broken. And that's where I'm at with my music.
You know what? Exactly. I say that's why we always need to keep women in our lives, because women, they quick. They'll check you quick. No, that's stupid.
Yeah. They make you feel real small. And you get right back.
You're like, what? That was the greatest thing since sliced bread. Oh no, it wasn't.
Right.
But yeah, I can't, and I think that's what gets a lot of people is they listen to their boys and this, that, and the other. But we do need the people, you know, and you know that'll tell us, hey, we're not doing quite things right. And you know, I think about the time I met Tupac, right? And this was like kind of like my first real introduction to the music industry. I was working security at a hotel, Days Inn, downtown Atlanta. And, you know, I see this tour bus pull up and I'm like, you know, this was in early 90s, maybe 93, 94, 95, something like 93, 94. And I'm like, you know, it still didn't dawn on me. And then I heard the voice.
Right.
And I'm like, that voice sounds familiar. And it was Tupac and his crew and the Little Thug Life crew. You know, I see them get out. They all, you know, You know, they got the gear on, you know, the, for lack of better words, the thugged out type gear, the hood gear, right? And then this man gets out with the suitcase and he gets out with the briefcase and the suit on. You know, and I'm talking to him. I'm like, who are you? I mean, I see who they are, but who are you? He's like, I'm the businessman. I'm the one that try to keep them in track. I mean, keep them, you know, together, because you can't let them out here with all this dough and with all this fame. They'll just run wild. You need some, and even in that case, you got somebody corralling Tupac. He's the main man, but you got somebody there to keep him in check. I mean, he was asking this guy for money. I want to go to the store. I want to go to, you want to go here. He was like, all right, here's a couple thousand, here's this. And he was dishing it out. I was like, oh, that's how this works. But now are you rocking with the because I it's this big push nowadays with this independent, you know, versus the, I guess the bigger companies. So you would be, yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm like an independent maker. I put it out because we have a global deal of 240 countries. That's for music, movies, television, you name it. We are global. Actually, we are a global label, and we had our humble beginnings. I know it's going to grow. Not only that, it's AVM Records, then it's AVM Trinidad and Tobago Records too. So we actually got two entities, but it's still under one on. So yeah.
So what are so are you into? Is it when you said you know, keeping it clean, this, that, and the other, the records? Is it more hip hop? Is it more gospel? Is it more, you know, R&B? What's your main?
It's actually based off of, because I produce all genres. I don't have a one base style of music. I produce all genres of music. So angelic, all. But in like right now, I got out 2 records right now, as records. One named Miracle Rainbows, and another one named Ola Ole Mu Grande. It's the Latin jazz that I got out. Actually, my first 2 singles off the label is those. So pretty much, it's a lot that's coming. It's a lot more music coming. It's a lot more of my artists is coming with different styles of music, but it's in a positive light.
Now, do you think that, you know, you being in the New York City area, do you think that benefits you because it's so much, or do you think that, you know, maybe being in the middle of the world and, I don't know, Topeka, Kansas, where, you know, you may be the man? I mean, is there a difference in that?
Well, I wouldn't say, well, this is the home of hip hop, you know, as, you know, quote unquote, but I think music is universal. It has its own language, and it reaches the masses. It touches the soul, you know. So I don't think that because I'm from here makes me any better than anybody that's from Kansas or Kentucky or whatever. You know, as long as you got the passion and the drive and the love of what you do, I think you can reach the world globally.
Yeah, because I know, like, I had some buddies growing up that was trying to get into the R&B side of things, and they were always like, "Man, we need to get to New York City, right?" You know, and Kanye. But you know, and here's the thing too: Kanye and Common. Like, Common was out forever. You know,
Right.
and I
Oh yeah, he's been out for a long time.
and nobody really knew who he was. He wasn't getting any airplay. Wasn't getting any real play. And I'm gonna tell you, I used to work here again. I used to work. I've had a million jobs. But I used to work at a nightclub in Chicago. Me and my buddies were waiters there, and Common used to battle in there, and that's when he was going by Common Sense. And he used to always say, and I think we talked about this before we came on, but he used to always say, "I'm gonna make it big. I'm going to make it big. Y'all need to be following me. Y'all need to be rolling with me." And I was so happy to see him blow up. And then, like, even happier when I saw him win that Grammy last year or early this year.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, that. I felt him, because I remember, you know, when we was working at Club Ultimate in Harvey, Illinois. You know, when he would come in every Tuesday night, Tuesday night was the male female review night.
Right.
But that was when the biggest group of people came in. I mean, this club was bananas, man. It was, you know, it was insane. And the money we made in that joint as waiters was even crazier. But I just remember him saying that, and it's like, wow, that's good stuff. So, So, are you looking for? What are you looking? Are you looking to sign new artists? Are you looking to bring on new people on board?
Well, to piggyback off what you're saying, and then I'll get to your question.
Okay.
Thing about Kanye, the thing about speaking with faith, regardless of that, he's going to make it. And sometimes you either speak blessings to yourself or you can speak damnation to yourself. I feel that death and life is in the power of your mouth. So if you speak life, like and positive, thinking positive, that's the aura you create. You create that aura for change. So I feel you on that, man. I feel that, man. That's good to see somebody that was in that stature to make it to that stature. So you saw it from the beginning, and then you saw it at its peak. So that's a blessing. As far as the other question, of course, we're always looking for artists and producers and stuff of that nature. Right now, we're focusing on the artists that we got signed now. They're all artists. Person, a legend that's coming up. You know who the first female DJ is?
No, actually, I don't.
First female DJ, the original Spinnerella.
Oh, Spinnerella, yeah.
Ashley.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. You know what? She retweet our stuff from time to time. How could I forget?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got the original Spinnerella. You be out with a song. But other than that, yeah, we always looking for creative artists, no matter what creed or color, and you go in the same direction in the song.
That's good stuff, man. You know what I love? Let me tell you something. I love to see people, you know, I guess it's probably not a secret, but I love to see Black people succeed. And I love to see Black people doing something, you know, positive. And then you're bringing a different spin by saying, hey, you know what? I'm looking at the positive music, you know, the you know, without the curse words and this, that, and the other. That to me is huge, especially with a 15-year-old daughter. You know, I've noticed she's listening to, you know, certain things, but I try to limit, you know, the things that she listens to when she's around me. You know, that way she's not getting it, you know, 24/7. But that's really, really, really positive to hear, and I appreciate that. So it looks like we might have a little brief technical difficulties, and that's fine. But you guys got a real quick glimpse of what Angelic Voices is about. Obviously, since he's not here, you can reach him on. Oh, you're back. So obviously, you can reach him on Twitter at Angelic Sounds rather. Duh, I'm an idiot. Angelic Sounds. That's at Angelic Sounds. You can also click on the description. I put the website in the description of the video, so you can check that out. And go to the website, and definitely, you know, if it's something like, hey, shoot your music over to them, because you know what, you could be the one to help, you know, that label grow. And it just is what it is, you know. But we got to be coachable. We got to be able to work with other people. And with that saying, if you're a Black business owner, you're watching this, create a profile at blackfolkhotspots.com. obviously I'm not wearing a Support Black Business shirt today. I got my Jackie Robinson, Support Jackie Robinson West. They still the champs. I just believe that it's, regardless, you can't blame the kids for something some adults may have done. And then I think Little League was kind of backwards, and I think that, it all came about over some jealousy. So you had two different things going. You had some parents who made over some borders, but those kids still played the games, right? They still played the games and they won fair and square. You had some other adults who was a little bit jealous because they got spanked. Instead of being happy and saying, hey, you know what? They had one or two players. One or two players, if you watch them kids play, they could have, it didn't matter who was out there. They whipped through. But anyway, they still the champs in my eyes because the kids, they played the games. They wasn't too old. They were all within the same age bracket. And Chicago is just like many other cities, the districts and this, that, and the other. But anyway, if you're a business owner, go to Black Folk Hotspots. You see it on the screen, see it on the hat. It's in the description below. Create a profile because we want to interview you. We want to talk about your business. We want to get to know who you are. And other than that, we'll talk soon. Episode 45 is in the books. And stay tuned for the next ones. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit like if you like what you saw. And hit the thumbs up button. Share and subscribe and stay updated on what we got coming out new as far as our next interview. You
Okay, I'm back.
You back? You had some technical glitches.
Yeah, man. I don't know what happened just now, but that was like
It's all good. You made me feel like a radio DJ where I had to talk for 20 minutes. And I'm just messing with you. Like I'm making up stuff like, hey, y'all see the weather outside? No. But no. So basically, I was going into rap mode, but what is when, let me ask you this, because these are the things that I like to know, because I know how it worked for me, but when did the light bulb, I mean, first of all, let me ask you before I even go there, what other things, well, basically, when did the light bulb go off? Were you working one day at somewhere and be like, you know what, this place is garbage, I'm gonna start my own label?
You know what's funny? I didn't even say I wanted to start my own label. Go ahead. I didn't want to start my own label. What happened was I wanted to start a production company, but I guess the Lord blesses me with, He blessed me with a label, because that came out of nowhere. I was supposed to got a publishing deal, but then end up getting a label deal. So I guess it's all God's doing. But it turned out to be a great thing, and it's all working out in His favor.
Because I tell people that with Black Folk Hotspot, I was doing online marketing. I've been doing online marketing since 1998, 99, right? Okay, and I was creating blogs around products and services and helping people sell, their products and this, that, and the other. And in 2008, I woke up from about 3:30 in the morning, and all I heard a voice, and then all it said was, instead of do what you've been doing for yourself, but do it for black businesses. Help them get more exposure. Help them sell more products and services. And here's the name, Black Folk Hotspots. And even then, I was like, that's a little bit too, from what I knew about the internet, I was like, that's a little bit too long, So what I did was I texted like 4 or 5 of my buddies at like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. And within 10, with like blackfolkhotspots.com and like a couple other domain names. And all of them responded within 10, 15 minutes that they all like Black Folk Hotspots. And I'm like, okay. I called off that next morning. I was working in corporate America. I called off the next morning and got started. And we were a blog for a long time. I was just doing it in blog format. Person would send me their bio. They would send me some pictures. They would, I would talk to them on the phone and get a better feel for them, and this, that, and the other. And then I started getting phone calls from around the country. People were like, "Hey, I saw what you did for this. Can you profile my business? Can you do that?" I'm like, "How did you hear about us?" And they was like, "Well, I was following you on Twitter, or somebody has shared this and did this," and I'm like, "Wow." And it's funny, and even that it was this girl I know from she lives in Raleigh.
Right.
Well, from Raleigh, and she didn't have the business. Her mom had a beauty shop, and she's like, "Yeah, my mom needs some more exposure. Can you do my mom up?" I'm like, "Yeah." And so we hooked it up, and she said about 3 or 4 months later, her mom was like, "Where are these people coming into my shop or calling me?" And then she said her mom would ask the people, and they would say, "Well, I saw you on the internet." And my mom was like, "The what?" And her mom was like, "The what?" And I don't have nothing on the internet. So, it's just all these little different little things. But yeah, so that's cool that, I always like to hear that background story, because that is cool that when we think too small a lot of times, we're and I don't care what nobody say. I really don't. With the presidential election and this, that, and the other, with Donald Trump running, your fellow New Yorker, he don't even shake your head. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because the one thing that he's always said, that the one quote that I don't care anything else he say because it doesn't affect me, right? He said, "If you're gonna be thinking, you might as well think big, since you're thinking anyway." And if you look around and you see the things he's done, everything he's done has been big. Like I tell people, if I say I'm staying at the Trump Plaza or the Trump Hotel, I'm not staying at no fly-by-night joint. It's top notch. If I tell you I'm going to play golf at Trump Golf Course, you like, dang, that's you instantly going, that's top of the line. And so, and I say those are the things that we need to pick up from people, from these billionaires. Why not? I mean, you may not have to pick up his personal beliefs, but some of the other beliefs, just like me and you, I may not agree with everything you say, if we're having a conversation, but there's going to be some nuggets that you drop that I should be able to take. And that's why I want to do these conversations between business owners. So my next question is, what would you tell an up-and-coming person who wanted to get into the music industry? What would be your advice to them from what you know at this point?
First, pick God first. Second, study your craft. Get around people that are better than you, to make you better. And don't be so quick to get over destructive criticism, because you know the difference between haters and people that are really in your corner and want to see you make it. And last but not least, stay humble. Always stay humble, stay broken, and just go for it. Don't be afraid. Don't let anybody try to discourage you. Just stay focused, and that's it. And you will win. You will win. That's the best advice I could give to anybody that want to come out with any business.
That is great advice, because that is one of the main things, and once you have a little bit of success, I think that sometimes is the hardest thing to do, is to stay humble. But it's you got some people nowadays, and even from talking from like the Puffy or the Jay-Z side of things, when I listen to those guys talk, I know what they say in their music, but when you hear them talk in interviews, it's totally different. It's like Jay-Z you know, they always dropping, you know, dropping knowledge, or they dropping little tidbits. And one thing that I do is I look at a bunch of different sources. And my business professor in college, my first business professor in college said, if you want to be successful, read about other successful people, which is the same thing you basically said. You know, he was like, look, all these successful people in America, in the world, have created, you know, most of them have written autobiographies. You should be reading those things, you know,
Exactly.
because if you read 10 books, that input is going into your head and it's coming out as one, you know. That's what I did for baseball. Like I said, when I grew up, I was a baseball dude. I studied. One of the things you also said was play, you know, learn from people who are better than you. Don't be afraid to be around people who can bring you up. Because in my neighborhood I grew up in, I was the youngest. I was the baby of the neighborhood. So in order to get on the basketball court, in order to get on the baseball field, you know, and any other sport things, you know, I had to come with it. And one of the things that my grandfather had did, now, you know, I'm gonna wrap it up in a little bit, but one of the things that my grandfather did was he bought me all the equipment, right? So I had balls, bats, gloves, basketballs. I had everything. You know what he said? They always gonna let you play because you got the equipment. Don't let them come and borrow your stuff and you're not in the game.
Not in the game.
So I was forced to get better by playing with them because they didn't hold nothing back, elbows, this, that, and the other. They didn't throw the ball softer or slower than me. You know, they came with it. So I was forced to get better. And that's, you know, that's how it is in everything. I like to yeah, that's good stuff, man. So tell our viewers that's watching this now or will watch this later, how to get in contact with you if they need to.
Well, they can reach me on my Twitter and my Instagram. They both at Angelic Sounds. You can reach me on Facebook. I'm always on Facebook, man. Angelic Voices BJ Evans. And you can go to my website, avmrecords.net. avmrecords.net. That's it.
Okay.
You can reach me anywhere. I'm always.
And can I give you a couple quick bits of advice real quick?
Sure, you can.
All right, I'm looking at your Twitter, and I need you to add your website to your Twitter link.
I did.
It's no website on Angelic Voices Music, and I mean Angelic Sounds. There's no website.
Okay, I added there.
Yeah.
In my picture, my profile picture.
I'm looking at the Twitter.
Oh, the Twitter. Oh, okay.
So there's no link. So if a person wanted to click, I mean, I'm sure that it's probably in your tweets or this, that, and the other, but there's nothing in there. It's just your little, you know, your bio, you know, in Harlem, New York, joined, you know, 2010, but that's it. So, you know, I will put something there.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I will definitely add that.
No sweat. You know, I look at these things, man, and I'm like a mama or a daddy, like,
Hey, man, listen, I'm a humble dude, man. I don't know it all, man. Only Jesus Christ know it all, man. I don't know it all.
Exactly. None of us do. That's why, you know, I listen to cats, man. I study the internet business, man. I study the exposure. You know, one of the best advice that I was ever given on the internet side of things was a guy. He said, listen, if they give you 140, you know, slots to talk about, you know, whatever, use it. Use every character. You know, he was like, you know, if they give you 10 different blocks, you use every one. You know,
right?
You know, and it's funny because, and then I'll wrap it up after this. But it was funny. A guy came to me, prominent Black Power type guy. Has done a couple documentaries. You know, I have been telling him, hey man, you need to create a profile. Got people looking for your stuff, this, that, and the other. So after about 8 months, he finally creates a profile, and then, but he fills it out. You know, and I ask questions. You know, my main questions that I ask are, tell me about yourself. You know, why did you choose this niche? Sort of like having the same conversation, you know, that I have in these interviews, But now it's just, you know, because the internet's working 24/7, and I'm a firm believer in people like doing business with people who they like and they trust. Now, they may not necessarily like you because they don't know you per se, but they can get you can read something and get somewhat of a trust factor. You be like, okay, this person seems pretty good. And, you know, I've asked things like, what's your most life, you know, your best life experience, or, you know, why did you go this route in your business? And those are questions that goes in the profiles. And then I give you the, you know, the about 5-6 spots to list: website, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, you know, Google Plus, whatever. And and he responds, you ask way too many questions. What? You turn people off. And so what I did was, you know, I deleted the profile because I don't believe in having, you know, you're not gonna come on my site because it's black owned, black ran, and you're not gonna treat it like the hood, number one. You know, I don't care who you are. You could be Barack Obama. You know, sorry, dude. But if you're Barack, just like old boy, I will give you the benefit of the doubt if I know who you are, and I'll hit you up and say, this is why I did those things. Because once I tell you that, you should be like, that makes sense. And I said, no, it's a weed now process. Because if you're not going to take the 3 to 5 minutes to fill out this profile completely, then I don't want you in my network of black business owners that I share and connect with each other, you know, every day. It's just one of those things I don't want. And he responded, and I told him, I said, I do that to, you know, to weed out the tire kickers too, right? Because some people, they you know, numbers are great, but some people become more harm than helpful. It's, you know, in my day and age, I've learned that all money ain't good money. and every client, you don't have to do business with everybody, and every client that wants to pay you may not be right, because they can ruin your business. And he says to me, I ain't ask you all that.
Right.
I said, that's okay. I said, you know what, bro?
That's not business minded at all, bro.
No, but this is a black power dude, man. This is a black power dude that you see all over YouTube and this, that, and the other. And this dude is like, and he speak a lot of good game, you know. And I tell people, I said, you know, here's the experience I had. Now, I'm not saying that the knowledge he's shooting is not true, but he's not living it.
So that means that it's not true.
But the knowledge is, but no, the knowledge that he's saying, what he's saying is right. It's like he's talking out of a book, right? But he's not living through those words. It's like he's talking about the Bible, but he's not living the Bible life.
Exactly.
He's a phony. You know, and I said, all right, you know, but just like a couple other people, eventually, what happened with your boy, Kurt Franklin? He said, my covers got pulled back. I had to get my life right, and a lot of times that's what happens. They're gonna get them covers pulled back. Eventually, they're gonna be like, damn, he's a fraud.
Hey, let me tell you something. Look, you see this right here? You see what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Okay. I got one finger pointing at you, but then I got 4 pointing back at me.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely.
So everybody got to clean their closet, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I say it all the time. I like to give people the benefit of the doubt, only because one of my main things is, you know, and I say, I know how I was raised, right? I know, you know, and you may have been on a whole different side of the country, but you may have been raised a little bit differently. So we got different experiences. You know, I tell people you can have twins that lived in the same house with the same mom and dad, the same mostly everything, but they still have their own different personalities, you know, and they'll have that. You know, me, my brother, my sister, we were raised by the same parents, but we all have different personalities to a certain extent, but we got the same core values. You know, I have to tell my girl this a million times, like, look, you lived X amount of years without me and I lived X amount of years without you. We ain't going to agree on everything. You know, we can argue about some things, we can debate some things, but we just not ever going to agree 100%. And you can have people that's been married for 100 years and they still disagree on certain things. You know,
Exactly.
but it comes down to the basic values. Now, you know, like my girl said, you are the most ethical, the most, you know, the person with the most, you know, morals that I've ever met in my life. She said, that's the one thing I know I can trust you as far as ethical and morals, because those are the things that were instilled. And those are the basic roots. You know, from that point, you can grow different branches, but those morals and ethics, I'm not going down, and I'm not blowing. You know, when I look at things, there's 2,100 plus business owners on our site. I am not gonna blow it for one person,
Right?
because it affects all of us, and that's the reason why I did it. You know, when we look at our numbers, I'm like, hey, you know what? Keep saying what you're saying, keep doing what you're doing. But yeah, it just I hear his game, I hear what he's saying, and I really, you know, he talks the talk, and you know, it's a lot of them. That's why like a lot of these black conscious cats, you know, I call them, you know, like unconscious, because a lot of the things is they're great until you say, well, put your money where your mouth is. You know, here's a black business owner right here. Why don't you support them? Get them $10, $15, $20. You know, buy that book, buy that CD, buy this, buy that. You know, you may not want to be a business owner, and that's fine. But here's a person that does want to be a business owner. You got the dough. They need the dough to make it. Why don't you shoot them, you know, $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, $10,000, and say, here's an investment in you.
Yeah, see, that's the only thing. That's called pride, man. You know, a lot of people they have a form of something, but inside of them they don't mean well. And as far as like to piggyback on what you're saying, I was born with a gift to bless others. That's my number one line. Whenever I leave out of this body and go into eternity to the Lord, I want to go with a whole bunch of souls behind me. Say, look, Lord, look what I did. I didn't use the gift that you gave me to do this. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
That is my number one. That's what I stand on. That's what I live on. I was born with a gift to bless others, and that's exactly what I'm gonna keep doing.
You know what gets me sometimes when and I'm not gonna lie, I like Lil Wayne. I like a lot of these cats out here, right? I think Lil Wayne is gifted. I think that his lyrical skills, dude, he can use metaphors like nobody other. I mean, some of the stuff you go, did he just really just say, you know? But then I hear these cats, you know, your Chief Keefs and certain people in the world, and then they get on stage and they go, I want to give a shout out to God. I'm like, dude, God made that music? I mean, for real, you know, it always gets me. It's like, I'm like, damn, God cursed like that, and he called that many people, that many women out their names. Good, what the? I was like, I'm afraid.
That's when the Lord said, "You'll know them by their fruits." They have a form of godliness, but there's no God because they don't live. They don't live for God. They don't live for Christ. So it's going to show in your lifespan. People can get up on stage and just win a Grammy and say, "I want to thank God," and you can tell. You'll know them by their fruits. You'll be like, "Nah, that's not what you live in. You showing off your multi-million-dollar car. You flashing money. You got the big booty girls and the thing." You know, and that's exactly where we're going against that, because it's so much of it. It's so much of it. And it's polluting the minds of the youth. They thinking that they could get in this game and to get all of that. But it's actually to get in the game, to bless others, to go a positive direction. So you can't change the divine order, but you can plant the seeds so to bring change. You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
But that's the initial thing of ABM. Like I said, I've been watching this industry for a long time, brother, and I didn't see so many changes in this, man. And it went from from soul to just putting anything out, and these young kids is really soaking it up. Like, yo, oh, that's hot. You know, they was actually talking about the young brother Freddie. I think it's Freddie Webb or Freddie, whatever his name is, but yeah. And he said, yo, that dude can sing. I was like, are you serious? You talking about Johnny Gill can sing. Maurice White can sing. Teddy Pendergrass can sing. Prince and Michael Jackson. Those people can sing.
Right.
Brother here, But he's soaking up the charts.
Yeah, he is, but one of the kickers is like we talked about before. It's the difference between being relevant and being hot for a year or two or this, that, and the other. But will they create anything that's timeless? That John Legend, that one song, they'll be singing that 200. We'll be dead and gone. We'll be back here again, and we'll be like, wait a minute, I think I heard that song before. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes, I love that brother, man. That brother, that's what I'm talking about. Timeless music.
Yeah, it's the timeless. You got Prince, you got Michael Jackson. I had posted to the fan page, Black Folk House fan page the other day, Man in the Mirror. And right. and I said, don't just watch the performance that Mike does. Listen to the words. And you know what was funny? And I'm gonna tell you our demographics, our biggest demographic is women 35 to 45. That's the biggest, right?
Yeah.
And so many people said that's the first time I really listened to those words.
That's bananas.
Because Man in the Mirror is a deep song, and he literally say, go look in that mirror because there's only one person looking back at you.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to change before you would expect to see anything else change.
Who wrote that song, right? I'm gonna tell you who wrote that song.
No, I don't.
You know who wrote? Saida Garrett.
Why does that sound familiar to me?
Of course, man. Saida, this Google her, man. You put that in, gonna bug out.
Okay, I'm gonna do that. That's interesting. Wait a minute, you mean so Meek Mill didn't go after Michael Jackson for somebody else writing his song? That's why I'm like, this dude don't even know the industry.
Half of these young brothers in here, they get around these labels and they just take them in, and then they look at them as they product. They ain't even looking at the talent. They're looking at the product. Oh, we just gonna make more money to keep the business open. And it's crazy. That's how they look and portray themselves. I tell my artists is that all of y'all are not artists. Y'all are businesses. You're not an artist. You're a business. People go into this music industry and they think artistry. You think it's small, bro. You are a business, man. You're a business. And that's the thing about it. I try to teach them that, and they going into this business with that type of a business mindset, and yeah, man. I mean, it's crazy how this generation is right now, but I'm definitely on my knees for this generation, man. Even my sons, So, but yeah, man. Yeah, you're right.
One of the killing things, and we're really gonna go down, but one of the killing things is when you start talking, I start thinking about this. It's sort of like the drug industry. It's sort of It's like you put those drugs in the neighborhood, like the real Ricky Ross. What did he say? He was like, "Look, black people are not manufacturing these drugs. We don't own these airplanes. We don't own this. How do you think they got in our community? Who brought them into our community?"
Right.
And it's the same thing with the music industry too. It's like, hey, you know what? A lot of us don't own the labels. I mean, the distribution. A lot of us don't own none of this, that, and the other. Right. So they come into these industries, and the one thing I always say is why I give just a little bit of credit, because I say every kid that's born in the hood, in the ghetto or the projects, or in a certain situation, they do have this thing of saying, I want to get out, and I want to buy my mama a house, Right. So what they're saying with that, and I don't really think they understand, is I want to help the next generation. I want to help, other people do this, because they're saying that this wasn't a life that I really wanted. So they go into this illegal side of things to do things to help get out. It's no different from an athlete. It's no different from, I just say, when I talk to the young cats on the streets, I'll tell them, I walk up to them and I say, hey man, I don't know what's in that backpack you got. Or I don't know what's around the corner in that coffee can. I don't know, and I don't care. But what I am going to tell you is, You know, you got all the intangibles to do something huge. And when I mean do something huge, I mean do something big and legal to where when you go to sleep at night, you don't have to worry about them crashing in at your door at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning saying this is a raid. Or you see a police siren go down the street, you don't even have to flinch. Well, nowadays, if you're black, you got to flinch, you know, just because, you know, you got to, because these cats will choke you out. But on the real, though, I said, you can go to a wholesale. You can go online. You can look up wholesalers. You can, you know, there's wholesalers in this area. You can go sell, you know, baby diapers, baby toys. Do you know, and on the legal side, do you know how much money you can make from all these, you know, yeah, these young girls are having these babies. They will buy from you just like they buying this other product from you. And you make just as much money, and you can sit back and say, hey, I'm making a guap, you know, and I ain't got to worry about it. You can hang out with your buddies. You can do the same things. Man, I sold socks out of the trunk of my car. You know, the only thing I didn't have was a business license at the time, right? You know what I mean? But I was making $300, $400, $500 a day selling socks, white sweat socks.
Right.
You know, I was buying them wholesale from a wholesaler in Chicago, and I started out buying a box a day. I forgot how much it was. I was up to 3 boxes. Finally, I was going over there every morning, and the dude, and where I'm from, I'm 30 minutes from downtown Chicago. So, finally the dude said, man, you here every day. You know, I can ship these boxes to your house, right? Wow. You know, and I'm like, really? And you know, that was the thing. The only thing that stopped me was it got cold, and I was like, man, I'm not gonna be outside, you know, selling socks in the cold. I'm going back to work, you know. And my thing was to pick it back up after that. But I tell people that you can. I know that the hustle. I was hustling on the streets just like the dude selling dope. The only difference was my hustle was legal and his wasn't.
Wasn't right.
You know, we can stand on the same street corner. You know, and he ain't gonna get mad at me. I'm not taking his money. He's not taking my money. We can stay in the same gas station, the same basketball court, the same beach, whatever it was. That's what I did. I looked wherever they stood, I stood. you know, or close by, and that's how I made my money. I'm like, hey, well, obviously y'all know this corner must be profitable, so I'm gonna stand here too, shit. And I'm gonna sell these sweat socks. I would sell him and all his boys when they would come get this stuff, get the little, they loud, get their little weed, whatever they was getting, and here's some socks.
Right.
And they were like, damn, dude. But yeah, that's how we need to think, and that's what I tell the young boys. I mean, it seems as though you're probably talking to them too, and this is what I tell us in our age group. We need to, because they'll listen, and I don't come to them, you know, like I'm holier than thou, like I'm better than them. You know, and I think that you don't either, because you got to stay humble with them, because next thing you know, they're not gonna listen. I wouldn't either when I was that age.
Right, but it's worse now. And well, my ministry is to win souls for Christ through the gift of music. Now, you know, sound travels, right?
Yeah.
Okay, it can make you sad. It can make you happy. It can make you do a lot of things. I always say music is very spiritual. It's not a normal thing, because it wasn't invented here. It was invented up there in heaven. So I always say that the music of today is an influence the kids, this generation, of how the direction of go. They look to music. Everywhere you turn around, you see people with these kids with these earbeads in their ear. They always music. So they feed in their minds with a lot of negativity, and it's polluting the neighborhood. That's why I'm saying that it's not the outside in, it's the inside out. It is a spiritual battle and war that we are in, and my ministry is going to focus on why there is teen pregnancy from the root, which is in the spirit. Why is there's killing? Why the cops are turning into the biggest game, killing us one by one. You got to remember, it is the evil one that runs the system of this world. And we are in that system. We can't change the divine order. What we can do is plant the seeds into these kids before the enemy gets them and use them for his way. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
This is where angelic voice is going to come in. We are not here to point fingers at anyone. That'll be the quick way for somebody to turn away from you, and they'll close their ears and they won't listen to you at all. But we are the ones that's going to the root on the spiritual side, where the kids will be able to look and listen and like, wow, okay, so that's the reason why I was really upset and I was ready to kill somebody, or that's the reason why there's so much teen pregnancy. That's it. That's what it is. Because I know it's not me. I talk to a lot of youth and they be like, yo, I get angry for no reason, or I'm doing this and I don't know why. And they don't understand that we are in a spiritual battle, regardless if you believe in God or not.
So looks like we had another brief technical. We're gonna come back on this. I mean, in this we're going along, but we'll definitely come back and we'll bring back angelic voices, the CEO Vandebilt, and definitely circle back on this. This is a good conversation. But anyway, guys, thanks for listening. If you're a black business owner, create profile blackfolkhotspots.com so we can interview you and just sign up for an interview so that we can bring you on, talk about your business, and let's chat. Anyway, talk to you guys soon. Peace out. GI Operation. You can follow us on Twitter at BFHS Network. All our links are in the description below the video. Peace, y'all.